Hi friends, let's take a look at Tezos together. Taking a look at Tezos versus the dollar and Tezos versus the Bitcoiner. As well, shall we take a look at it, Tezos versus the Ethereum Bobs? Sure, why not? What did we have on the go here on this in this price action? Was that potentially a head and shoulders? Yeah, potentially. And what have we seen happen with the prices since? Well, maybe they've done a sort of weak move down the way in this overall upward trend, not having really done the full measured move necessarily, depending on how you were drawing this thing in. If you were to call that the measured move off the neckline, now of course that's being very generous, giving it the full thing. Instead, you'd look probably towards the 60% area, and that would bring you in at this 28k 30,000 price point for support. Where have we gone down as low as? Well, we went down to 30,000, and yes, sure. So you could actually make the debate. You could make the point that we've come in and done the measured move off the back of that. I just find this was this the one I was using before? I don't know what was this on the chart? Did it already exist? I don't know. Anyway, we've talked about that. We've done our target. Since then, we've come back up and responded very positively, considering and looking up here, and we're at the 50% line. Is that what this is? Yes, it is. Good. Didn't have to eat my hat on that one. Now, where were we before all of this? We were actually really quite high. We came in and we hit the 886 Fibonacci retracement, and then we pulled back from there. And if you're looking at this and you were saying at the time, like we were, that you've got the bearish divergence between these two highs and the head and shoulders on the stochastics, and will we see a play out of this in terms of the charts thereafter and the follow through in terms of all these moves? Well, yeah, that's happened. So cha-ching, there's another lesson for you in the bank if you've been subscribing, and you can now implement that in your own trading. Little by little, you're becoming a much better trader. If you've just joined us for today, welcome to the family. You're welcome to go back and watch the previous videos, of course, anytime. I don't mind. But yeah, hit the subscribe button, join the family, and of course you'll catch up and you'll be up to speed in no time. Look at me doing an Anton Creel impression drinking Oasis on a live video. Looking down here then at the dollar prices, how's this responded? Well, we weren't talking about the head and shoulders over here quite so much as we were talking about the potential for some sort of pattern like this, which, well, actually we were talking about both, right? This being your shoulder, this being your head, and this being your shoulder and everything else. But talking about but just putting this on here as a sort of example where, of course, it's a bit of a mess cutting through this body here. But, you know, if we got towards the 24-hour time frame and make the comparison, then you can see that we're just coming down here and hitting the bodies like no problem, not cutting through it. Cool. So you see how these things are always worth kind of giving yourself a little bit of an audit across the different time frames and see how things match up. So when the 4 hours is a little bit ugly, and what's happened then from the 24-hour perspective, have we actually done anything that's that dramatic overall? Well, actually we find ourselves more or less still within it. Maybe we're breaking out of it kind of in a sense if you have the part there. But of course, you know, we've kind of seen the prices retrace back up towards it, which is what the same sort of story that we're talking about in terms of how we've responded quite well. But we are being resisted by it when I look at it here in the 4 hour time frame, right at the median line of our parallel channel, which was important in the past, then was important in terms of support, and now it's become important again in terms of where the prices are moving, you know, just in this zone. So if we move down below the 382 over here on this Fibonacci retracement, then what you're looking at is perhaps the move down towards the 50% at 350, or the 618 then there at 330. But you know, if we find support here at the 382, that, as we have done so far, that's very good, which is what I would have said if I'd made a video a couple of hours ago or whatever. Then we're looking up towards that $4 area. I'm pretty sure you all know about that already, with the eye towards the top side, potentially coming in at around about where we have this previously downward sloping trend line as part of the descending triangle, and the inflection zones in and around about the shoulders areas, or the neck, or whatever you want to call it, of all this junk over here at the top, where we had where the point of control would be on this section of price if you were to do a VPVR for this particular section. Point of control would be in about here or whatever, and that's where we need to see the prices move up above this 236, get it to be invalid, and move towards the top side so we can aim towards our previous highs. And of course, we've got various targets along the way now, having had some price activity, some buying and selling happening in and around these all-time highs. So groovy, I think so. Yeah, cool, nice one. Let's all agree on that one. Moving on to some other charts so we can kind of make a broader comparison, because, you know, as we know, the story keeps on going. It's always top quality stuff here on the Rocky Outcrop show. Yes, you should hit that subscribe button. That's right. And we've got this symmetrical triangle construct here, and we had this parallel channel in the background. We came right all the way down to 369 area and touched the bottom end of this parallel channel as kind of a sort of, we could say a tiny little test at the lower end of this, or whatever, not a tiny little test, but a full-on test of it with a tiny little fake out, where we saw the prices respond really quite rapidly to that and move towards the top side again, having retaken the median line on this historical parallel channel immediately, and with a measured move not having yet been activated on this biznatch should we eventually do it. Looking at this, if we were to try and activate the schmactivate it, then of course we'd be going down towards $2.90. $3 really would be your target on that one, given the sort of the psychological impact of it and the previous support and resistance that we found around about that area. And of course $3.20 if you were to go down towards the downside. But really actually you'd be looking more towards this where the 200 simple is, for instance, and the 200 exponential, which I've made pink these days. Which is, I should change that in the description below, by the way, pink is 233 exponential, where you would have the 60% sort of moving, the 60% target. As you can see, we're just kind of above the halfway line on this, 60% Bulkowski style in a symmetrical triangle ish, whatever, looking around about those zones. Now, I've been told by people to stop saying whatever. It doesn't make me seem intelligent. That's true. I should stop that. And yeah, towards the top side thereafter, you've got to be looking in at 21 EMA. Coming in right around about where we have that inflecty-wecty zones. Inflecty-wecty, on the other hand, makes me seem like a genius. And the 21 EMA, of course, in that zone there, just where we had that inflecty-wecty. But of course, that's where the 50 simple moving averages as well. That would be an inflection point for us. Could we move past that? Now, on the way up here, we have very much had bearish divergence, as you can see down below. That then has that played out in the sense that we've had this sort of the potential for the head and shoulders move to have fully happened, and that we're inside this symmetrical triangle, which has got a lot of breathing space left in it, and therefore we could have an upper side target potentially in and around about that 420 get high zone, 428. Maybe you could even say, if you wanted to wick up there, touch that and set in a lower high as part of overall this sort of jazz. Now, of course, this is not a signals channel. This is a channel which is designed to make you a better, independent, self-reliant trader. What I do is I come on and I live stream. Essentially, I'm not live streaming, but this is recorded live quite obviously, and it gives you a good insight into the mind of a trader, and it gives you hopefully a bit more confidence as you look to make your own trades and figure out the charts along the way as you go. Hopefully you're getting that confidence every day as we do this, and that's really, really great, and hopefully that makes you want to tell your friends about what you've discovered here in this channel. Will this ultimately be a rejection of the bearish control zone? Now on this one I've got it set to 35. People, I can't remember her name, Chandler is it, that said it would be from 30 or whatever. I don't know. I can't remember. I've changed it around here to be what suits me, and that just because this is where I prefer to have it. And people were asking me recently how you would add them. Now, of course, this isn't necessarily showing up for everybody. Just if I search, then you can see my scripts. Oh, right. And that's everybody else's scripts. What if I search the word Rocky? Just my scripts. Right, I thought they were published public. I'll put links to these things in the description down below. How about that instead? Somebody told me that they couldn't find them, and that's why, because they're not findable. I don't edit these videos out of any mistakes that I make. By the way, sometimes when I make a mistake doing charting, I'm transparent about it. I want you to know that this is, of course, the life of a real deal dude. What I was looking at recently, if I zoom right out, would be to say that in the broad term perspective, maybe we've got a sort of massive rising wedge on the go. And cool, what would that bring us down to if we were to sort of worst case scenario this thing at the minute? Worst case bullish scenario this thing in the minute, saying that, well, okay, it's a rising wedge, whatever. Let's just bull trend it on up the way and go up towards $5 and $6 and stuff like that. If we had to stay within this, and we had to stay within this structure, you're looking at 280 there at the bottom end of that thing. Over here as well, serrated line. Oh, that's the serrated line on BTC. Oh my goodness. Well, as well, subscribers will know. Look at the mess on this thing. Subscribers will know that BTC, we talk about it like it's a scam exchange, but hasn't it been? It's really obeyed our targets. Almost uncanny in its way of doing it. It's come back down and hit off this line here, which is clearly where we had, previous inflection point in the market or whatever. When we broke past it, we went towards doing that whole big big move towards the top side. We've come back down and retested it almost to the penny. So, just dropping in here for a wee visit, you can see that that's important. Now watch here as I move this up the way, what we have on the go as well. We have the 236 coming in there below where the current prices are. So in terms of the bullish case scenario, once again, we came down, did what we kind of maybe wanted / needed to do to satisfy some of the bearish divergence that we've had, put in this low, and perhaps then you could continue towards the top side, having potentially put in a degree of hidden bullish divergence. Okay, that would be your bullish case and your negative case. We've talked about it all, and I think that's good enough. I'm going to move over to Ethereum, where you can see, if anything, the charts get clearer and easier to understand as we go along. By the way, once again, hit that subscribe button. So what we're looking at here on this one is numerous different things. We've made comparisons. As you can see, we've done loads of chat on this recently, but really what it boils down to, and I can be quite brief about it as a result, are the lines that we drew on. Now, if you want to, you can look back, or you can just ask the other subscribers. They saw them. I put them all on the video. This is how these things are done, is with full transparency all the time, blah, blah, blah. So it's always done like that. So you can see then the importance of this line having come in here at the 88 area, again, having been supported at it twice, and you can see the resistance having operated in here. Bearing in mind that these lines were drawn in when was it? Let me know in the comments down below when they were drawn in. I can't remember now. You might remember better than I do. When was it? Whatever. We talked about them, and well, yeah, look, you probably just want to know where they are, in fact. So 100k, 88k, lower side target 76. That would put us in for some sort of doubles, triple bottom scenario, depending on what sort of perspective you're taking on it. Look out for divergences along the way. Upside 100k, up above that 110k. The shoulder of a sort of head and shoulders that's only got one. It's got no right shoulder, if you want to look at it that way. Of course, that's not a pattern. That's just kind of looking at the mode here that we were in. There was bearish divergence between these two tops. We kind of covered everything that we needed to along the way in terms of how you could kind of look at this. You don't need to name every pattern. It doesn't need to be a pattern. Don't need to do anything. You don't need to do anything. When we drop below the 21 EMA over here, it was fairly significant. So what we can do is kind of look at that in terms of if we would be moving up towards the top side, or for any resistance off the back of this positivity that we've had versus the Ethereum prices. Should we find then that we've just got a double bottom in around this area just here, or indeed whatever sort of way you might want to look at this. What time frame is that? The 4-hour time frame. Quite clearly, there's various different ways of looking at this. You could draw in a lower line on this here. There's various different things that you could do. You don't need to do anything though, like I already said. Going to move on. That's cool. Yeah. And there's also different concepts like this here's coming slightly lower, right? It's closed off lower already, this body and this candle, and it's not as low over here. So you could call that bullish divergence. You could also look at that as being a sort of swing failure, given the area that we were here on the stochastics, and indeed the area where I have laid out, or indeed where you might look at if you want to think about it as being 40 or whatever, on the RSI. So a sort of swing failure thing or whatever it is, or I can't remember the name of them. I don't really care. I don't care. I talked about it all before. If you care about names, then write to Gertrude and let her know. She's wanted to know. She asked that question ages ago. I've been Rocky Outcrop. I'll still be Rocky Outcrop when I come back tomorrow. If you hit that subscribe button, I massively appreciate it. If you share it with your friends, then you're even better. And if you want to hit that join button and send some value back this direction, then that would be appreciated. As ever, no pressure. Just hit the subscribe button is good enough for me. And I really do appreciate everybody who joins the Discord and all that sort of stuff and gets in touch and leaves comments down below. Really, really do. Shout out to plenty of different people who've been watching the videos recently. For instance, Ross again, Kevin in Texas, who actually in this video today, I didn't actually, in this Tezos one, I didn't sing any of the Kenny Rogers stuff. I did in the Bitcoin and Ethereum one. So check out those videos for me kind of talking about the gambler. And of course, Texas being the state that gave us Texas Hold'em, the very best type of poker that's out there. It certainly is my favorite by a long shot, which I always win at. Well, I don't always win. Generally, I'm always in the final table, Do you find yourself always in the final table? Not always in the final table. That's silly, but You know what I mean, right? So how well do you do? How well do you do? I got told off for stringing my chips in Vegas really, really, really badly by the croupier guy. But that was an experience. Cool. Catch you next time.